Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on Jay's Side Hustles. I want to start a new series called Today in Trucking, and what we're going to talk about in this series is data and analytics and statistics from the trucking industry that will impact you and others in it. I want to do this series at least once a week. If we can't do that, if there's not enough news, then we'll push that to every 2 weeks. But I do want to make this an ongoing series for you guys. And all that being said, let's jump straight into it. I'm going to go over with you stats that were taken on February 13th, 2022, which was yesterday. And this was done by overdrive.com, overdriveonline.com. That is the source, and I'll leave a link in the description to the direct source that I'm taking this information from. They take statistics from like DAT load board and truck stop load board, places where a lot of stats are nested. And today we're going to talk about diesel prices, rates, load demand, truck demand, and market pressure. We're also going to talk about later in the video about the whole trucking blockade and all that stuff. I want to save that for last because it's a little bit on the negative side and political side, and it's not something that I really want to talk and discuss about on this channel, but we will touch on it briefly. The very first thing that I want to go over is the rates and the demand for loads and trucks. The very first thing we're going to talk about, and this has been updated today, it was posted on the 8th of this month. The demand for loads are down 5.9%. That means there's less loads than there has been. Okay, that means the amount of loads that are being posted by brokers and shippers are going down. The supply of trucks is going up. This is why I say I don't just throw out that, box trucking, for example, is oversaturated. You can see statistics right here. Okay, I just don't throw that out just to keep people from getting into the game that I see other YouTubers posting. It's an $814 billion industry. There's plenty of room out here. There's plenty of game out here. Stats don't lie. You cannot argue with stats. This was updated yesterday. There's a 12.7% increase in trucks, okay, moving freight. There is a 5.9% decrease in the amount of loads that are being created and posted. Market pressure has gone down 16.5%. What does that mean? That means that there's not as much demand to move product. Okay, spot rates are going up. They went up 1.6%, which is good. The light blue line is 2021, and the dotted line is a 5-year average. The 5-year average is right around $250 a mile. So spot rates are pretty good right now. And if you're not asking for $250 a mile at least, you're messing up. Now, these blue lines right here are 2022 so far. Right now, the spot rate is right above $3 a mile, okay? So if you're not at least getting $250 a mile right now for anything in trucking, you're messing up somewhere, okay? You need to be aware of these stats and data. You need to be able to look at this every month and see where we are, see where the trucking industry is. Now you'll see here, very first sentence, seasonal conditions hitting spot market this week with freight volume declining. So the freight volume, the loads, the amount of loads that are needing to be moved is declining. That is this stat, these two right here, the 5.9% and 16.5%, okay? There was a flat to down first month of the year. That means it was kind of flat, kind of plateauing, right? Truck postings, this is posting your truck on truckstop.com, and this is mainly semi, but it's also everywhere, okay? Amazon Relay, DAT, this applies to that. It rose 12.7% last week. That means that there's trucks not getting loads and they're having to post them. And this is from a weekly report from the load board itself, as well as FTR, Transportation Intelligence, which is a system that tracks all load boards and all postings everywhere. Now I'm going to tell you about reefers. Now MDI is market demand. It rose. The dry vans are sitting fairly level, so that means that the demand for dry vans is plateauing. Okay, we're not going up or down. Dry van is plateauing. That's where a lot of my audience is. Reefer's still going up. Reefer's always going to be needed, just like I preach. I don't just say this, just pull it out of my butt and throw it at you guys and say, hey, $800 billion industry, hey, go get a reefer. It's the best option. There's actual stats behind everything I say. And again, I'm going to leave this link in the description. Everything will be sourced. I'm not just pulling this out of my hind end. Flatbed has seen a sharp decline, and load postings falling 13% for flatbeds. Okay, so if you're thinking about getting in the flatbed industry, maybe now's not the best time, but we're also coming off a peak season when the most amount of freight is being moved, right? So that can also account for flatbed. and it's just a normal move for the market. It's kind of odd that we aren't seeing it for dry van, but again, it's staying plateau, and it could also move at any moment and go down. Flatbed load postings were nearly 13% comparing to this week last year. It's 173% above the 5-year average, which is good for the rates for flatbed, but it's also declining for the load demand. Dry van, which is the majority of my audience, have posted a modest 2 cents per mile increase, but refrigerated, which are reefers, and why I recommend getting a reefer, they've rose 7 cents per mile. Okay, that's why I recommend reefer. Not only are the rates going up, but the demand's going up. Why? Because there's more and more dry vans. So there's less demand. Okay, that's how it works. Supply and demand. That's all we're doing. The next thing we're going to talk about is diesel prices and how they're nearing $4 a gallon, as you can see on the screen. We have a 10.5 cent jump during the week of February 7th. The national average for diesel is closing in on $4. It's the closest it's been to $4 since May 5th of 2014. The U.S. average for on-highway diesel is now $3.95. The highest since $3.96 nearly 8 years ago. It's crazy, right? Look at how COVID impacted everything. It was the lowest it was ever at right here, right around the end of 2020. And all of a sudden, look at this. I mean, it has not stopped, man. Now, down the road for me, I'm right around this rate. $3.49 is my diesel cost at the Shell station literally right beside my house, which is awesome. But look at this, man. That's insane. We're closing in on $4 a gallon. This is why you need to be asking more than $2 a mile also. Not only because the spot rate is over $3 a mile. This is why the average is over $3 a mile right now in 2022, because diesel is up double. Okay. And the 5-year average is even at $2.50 per mile. This is why you really need to pay attention to the stats going on in the industry, because if you're not, you're losing money. The highest place in the nation is in California. It's stating here it's $4.94 a gallon. That's crazy, man. If you're having to pay $5 almost a gallon for diesel, and you're only taking $2 a mile, I hate to tell you, man, but you're not going to stay in business long. You might want to think about possibly, if you live in California, doing loads out of California and trying to stay out of California if you can. I don't know if how that fits with you guys, but just looking at these stats, man, I mean, it's kind of insane. It says here the cheapest fuel can be found on the Gulf Coast region at $3.73 per gallon, followed by the Midwest at $3.80 per gallon. And here is prices in the other region. New England region, $3.94. Central Atlantic, $4.09. Lower Atlantic, $3.89. Rocky Mountains, $3.86. That's all we have this week for stats wise. But I did want to touch on the Blockade and what I think about that and where I stand. I don't care about your political affiliation at all. I could honestly care less. I care about the way I think about it is I know why they're marching, I know why they're blocking stuff, and I know what they're doing it for. They don't want to be told what they have to put in their body, and I get that. My thing is you're stopping business from taking place, and they're doing the same thing that America did to the British with the Boston Tea Party, boycotting taxes and everything, and that's that's the whole foundation of America. And then it's funny how we've come back full circle, and America is taxing its citizens on everything, even after death, when we as a nation boycotted taxes altogether from the nation we were. But that's a topic for another video. Don't get riled up because of that. It is peaceful, but it's also hurting people. You have to think about the people that have bills to pay, and hopefully they can take different routes to get to work if they are blocking them from getting to work and be able to feed their children. And don't get political in the comments, please. That's just where I stand at it. That's where my perspective is. I know why they're doing it. I get it. How long is it going to take, and is it affecting other people and putting food in their children's mouths if they have children? You have to think of it from all angles. I don't just side with one party and be like, okay, we're with this. You have to think of all perspectives, and that's how I think. That's all I have. I just wanted to briefly touch on it. It's a little bit of a negative subject right now, especially, and I don't want this to turn into a political channel at all. So I thought I'd touch on a little bit after we touch on all the good stuff, the stats. And I want to make this a weekly video if we can, if they keep putting out stats like this. If not, then we'll make it a every 2-week video or monthly video. We'll see how it goes and how often we get stats and stuff like that. But hopefully this helps you guys. Again, this is the average rates in 2022, right above $3 a mile. If you're not asking for that, and they start saying, hey, the average, I can get somebody to take it for $1.70. If they're filling up your truck, you need to be asking for at least the 5-year average of $2.50 a mile, okay? This is why I want to do this video. I want to help others. Hopefully it helped you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, and please do subscribe for more Today in Trucking. See you next time.